Well, I can't say that I expected this to happen. Starbucks bans employees from wearing anything in support of Black Lives Matter. Of all the companies, Starbucks. Okay, sure, I'll take it. At least someone's not going completely insane. But I don't know, it is kind of weird, especially when you consider that Starbucks allows their staff to wear LGBTQ pins or whatever. This is the one issue they're not in support of. Maybe it's because of the crazy backlash they got when those two guys couldn't use the bathroom and then everybody hated them and now they're kind of freaking out about it. But I have bad news. While this may seem like some kind of beacon of hope because of the culture revolution happening, it's actually just one small blip. It's actually not specifically about Black Lives Matter, and we got a wave of stories that are even more troubling. As it turns out, there's a researcher who tweeted that after the riots following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., Republicans actually got an edge because rioting makes people vote Republican. Peaceful protests makes people vote Democrat. Someone attacked him on Twitter for it. He apologized and said he wasn't aware that it was hurtful, and he got fired for it. So, sure, we can sit here and talk about how Starbucks can sell you coffee and you're not going to see a button from someone. I really don't care if they wear the button, mind you. But a researcher, now that'll get fired. I got a bunch of other stories too. Let's read this one from The Hill, which apparently is going very viral and people are angry about it. They say, an internal memo sent to Starbucks employees last week specifically warned staffers against wearing accessories or clothes bearing messages in support of Black Lives Matter. The memo obtained by BuzzFeed News reminds staffers that such messages are prohibited under the company's policy against accessories that advocate a political, religious, or personal issue. Numerous employees told the news outlet, however, that the company regularly allows or even encourages employees to wear pins in support of LGBTQ equality, especially during Pride Month every June. Quote, Starbucks LGBTQ plus partners wear LGBTQ plus pins and shirts that also could incite and create violent experiences amongst partners and customers. One Black transgender employee of the coffee chain told BuzzFeed, we have partners who experienced harassment and transphobia/homophobia for wearing their pins and shirts, and Starbucks still stands behind them. A video from a top company executive reportedly sent with the memo warned employees that agitators who misconstrue the fundamental principles of the movement could seek to amplify divisiveness if the messages are displayed in stores. We know your intent is genuine and understand how personal this is for so many of us. This is important and we hear you, the memo read. The company spokesperson confirmed the memo's authenticity to BuzzFeed and said that such messages are prohibited to create a safe and welcoming environment at Starbucks locations. We respect all of our partners' opinions and beliefs and encourage them to bring their whole selves to work while adhering to our dress code policy. The development comes as protests have erupted around the country. Yes, okay, seriously, we get it, media. Every single time any one of these stories is written, have you noticed this all day? They just throw in protests have erupted because of George Floyd. Yes, I'm pretty sure we don't live under rocks and we understand what's happening and we know what this is in reference to. So seriously, thanks. Now listen, I think it's stupid. This is not the opposite of what we're seeing. It's the same thing. Censorship is censorship. If somebody wants to wear a little button, I don't care, man. If somebody wants to wear a shirt, I really, really don't care. In fact, I encourage you to stand up for what you believe in. Some people may look at this and say, at least some people are resisting the woke outrage. Sure, I guess technically. But I'm not all about that. I'm about freedom. I'm about the right to freedom of speech. I get it. You work for a company. You don't have freedom of speech when you're wearing their clothes. If you don't like what they want you to do, then don't work there. Sure, I get it. But if Starbucks is going to allow people to dress in one way or another, then I'm not going to be happy about them saying you can't support a cause you like. That's the problem. Okay, check it out. When you see stories like this, white UCLA professor under investigation after reading MLK's letter from Birmingham jail. Are you kidding me? It's all the same thing, telling you what you can't say or do. Now, within reason, I kind of get it, but this is just getting out of hand. There's an effort to get me fired at Cornell for criticizing the Black Lives Matter movement. This from William A. Jacobson. Or if not fired, at least publicly denounced by the law school. Student groups plan to demand the law school critically examine the views of the people they employ as professors of the law. Welcome to the Inquisition. This is what they're doing. They're seeking out people with negative opinions and they're trying to get you fired. So while I can look at Starbucks and say at least it's different from this in some ways, It's all the same thing, man. I'm just so over all of this. This story is probably the most egregious. Jesse Singal tweets, a 28-year-old social democratic data scientist lost his job at Civis Analytics for tweeting an article by a biracial Princeton African-American studies scholar suggesting that rioting is politically counterproductive. This is horrifying. Well, the story is written by Jonathan Chait. I'm pretty sure he's the crazy guy who wrote about Trump being a Russian asset or whatever. But regardless, the story is still actually horrifying. I have to wonder if these people actually want Donald Trump to win. Seriously, rioting was bad. Everybody hates rioting. Rioting makes Republicans win. And if you point that out, you're bad. Seriously. The people who have criticized the rioters have been smeared, slammed, and attacked. And this guy who says, hey, rioting actually helps Republicans is apparently bad. Take a look at this story from NY Mag. Here's what David Shore tweeted. Post-MLK assassination race riots reduced Democratic vote share in surrounding counties by 2%, which was enough to tip the 1968 election to Nixon. Nonviolent protests increased Democratic vote, mainly by encouraging warm elite discourse and media coverage. So why get this guy fired? Maybe it's because they like the riots, because they really do want Trump to win, huh? Otherwise, I can only assume they're just really, really, really stupid. It is easy to see why a specialist in public opinion whose professional mission is to help elect Democrats while moving the party leftward would take an interest in this research. But in certain quarters of the left, though not among Democratic elected officials, criticizing violent protest tactics is considered improper on the grounds that it distracts from deeper underlying injustice and shifts the blame from police and other malefactors onto their victims. One universal fact of political life is that people tend not to enjoy highlighting faults committed by their own side and often respond to others bringing up their behavior they don't want to defend outright by deflecting blame. Conservatives are united less by a zeal to affirm every one of Donald Trump's actions than a reluctance to denounce them. Likewise, while few leftists go so far as to explicitly advocate violence or destructive acts, refraining from criticism of violent protests is, among parts of the far left, almost a social norm. Well, and there it came, and then it happened. Minimizing black grief and rage to bad campaign tactic for the Democrats is BS most days. But this week, it's absolutely cruel. The take is tone deaf, removes responsibility for depressed turnout from the 68 party, and reeks of anti-blackness. Welcome to the future, everybody. This is what you get. The mechanism for the paper isn't turnout. It's violence-driving news coverage that makes people vote for Republicans. The author does a great job of explaining his research here. Trujillo Webster repeated the accusation of racism. You need to stop using your anxiety and intellect as a vehicle for anti-blackness, and then tagged Dan Wager, the CEO of Civis Analytics, the firm employing Shore. Come get your boy. Wow. At least some employees and clients on Civis Analytics complained that Shore's tweet threatened their safety. Their safety. You know what, man? These people don't know what safety is. They're absolutely insane, and I'm sick and tired of hearing it. I have no patience for these whiny losers complaining about their safety. I'll tell you what. The New York Times recently had this big tweet thing by like 160 staffers about how the op-ed from Tom Cotton threatened their safety. Fire every single one of them. They're not going to do it, though. It's unfortunate, huh? The previous generation, the boomers, the Gen Xers, and yeah, the millennials are all dominated by pathetic losers. Okay, the leaders in these institutions are so concerned about their little lives, they won't stand up and speak up for anything. You know what, man? They never had spines, I would assume, and that's the problem. It's like they say, hard times make strong men make good times make weak men, etc., etc., etc. Here we have generation after generation after generation of weak, pathetic individuals who refuse to stand up for themselves. I'll tell you what, David Shore, instead of apologizing and saying, I was not an effective manager and I regret starting this conversation, shut up, you whiny loser. You know what? Good. I'm glad you're fired. All these people who are too stupid and pathetic to stand up for what they actually believe in, you will get fired, and don't come crying when you lose your access because you allow these people to walk all over you. How about you stand up for yourself, assert your spine, and tell them to go shut the F up. The data speaks for itself, and facts don't care about your feelings. You know what? All of these people who are coming after David Shore too, they deserve to lose in November. We'll see how things play out. Maybe Trump will lose. Whatever, man. I don't care. I'm just tired of all of these pathetic losers refusing to stand up for anything. Don't expect someone to come up and hold your hand when you won't speak up for what you believe in. All of these pathetic apologies just show you never had a spine to begin with. I worked for a company. They said, do this, do that, woke, blah, blah, blah. And you know what I said? I said, no. And they were like, well, but you have to. No, I don't. But you're under contract. I don't care. And I said, perhaps then I shouldn't be. And I look forward to you releasing me from my contract. And they said, whoa, wait. We don't want the negative press. Welcome to Golden Handcuffs. So I sat around. It was boring. And eventually I left. But for the rest of these people, if you can't stand up for what you believe in, then you don't really believe in it, do you? How about you go start your own thing and stop expecting other people to prop you up? So he got fired. Yeah, it is horrifying. But you know what's more horrifying to me? How many people are getting fired because of this woke outrage who then just go cower in the corner and say, please leave me alone. Please, please. Nah, whatever, man. Fine. I don't care. You reap what you've sown. All of you. Every single person who is too stupid to stand up for themselves to save their own lives. Don't expect someone to come up and save you from it. You know what, man? When it comes to Donald Trump, I recognize why people voted for him. But if you think come November, you can just walk into a voting booth and be like, I'll secretly vote for this guy and he'll save me. Wrong. Not going to happen. What has Donald Trump done? What have the Republicans done about social media censorship? A little bit here and there, but ultimately nothing. Maybe. If the Republicans get the majority back in the House, they might actually pass some laws and start fighting back against this. But I really, really doubt it. The bigger problem is that the best these people can muster, the best conservatives can muster, is complaining and hoping that voting for someone else gets the job done. Have you been paying attention to the streets lately? What the left has been doing has been tearing everything down, and no one has stopped them. So what do you think you're going to get done? I don't know, man. Listen, probably for now, maybe voting is the best thing. Maybe it's the best thing you can do, because I certainly don't think what the left is doing, going out in the streets, is actually solving anything, just making things worse. And I don't know what the solution actually is, but stop relying on other people. Stop assuming you should just have the job. Whatever. I'll leave it there. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.